is there just kind of a sense maybe in the locker room that like some of the success you've had over the last week could prove to be your big breakthrough or kind of maybe a turning point for you guys for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all feeling good. I think the energy's high. Really good win in Minnesota. Had a chance to celebrate together. I think that only helps our chemistry. You know, all that stuff off the court definitely fuels us. We're having fun with each other. We're having fun together playing. So I think it is. I think this is a good moment for us, and you know, especially we're playing without one of our best players. So to do that in those circumstances, we're really just proud of ourselves.
The Las Vegas Aces, the team that proudly calls itself an unstoppable WNBA dynasty, just got a reality check in the harshest way possible. A brutal 27-point blowout? Check. Aya Wilson getting every possible whistle in her favor and still coming up short? Double check. And Chelsea Gray, who some fans claim is somehow better than Caitlin Clark, completely disappearing when her team needed her most? That's the biggest check of them all. While Aya Wilson was busy yanking players down from behind and somehow avoiding foul calls, a locked-in squad in Indianapolis was busy giving her a masterclass in unselfish, high-IQ, team-first basketball. If you're repping the Fever, drop a CC and Lexie in the comments. Because the Indiana Fever just handed the Aces a loss so historic, it echoed across the league. This wasn't just any win, it was the Fever's first victory over the Las Vegas Aces since 2019. That's right. This team hadn't beaten the Aces in 16 straight matchups. And they did it without Caitlin Clark. That 81-54 beatdown wasn't just a scoreline, it was a statement. It screamed that no amount of friendly officiating, inflated stats from Wilson, or dynasty hype was going to save Vegas once Indiana decided to tighten up and play real basketball. And speaking of Wilson, let's talk about that free throw parade she got gifted. On the stat sheet, it looks like she had nearly 30 points. But if you peel back the curtain, most of those came from the charity stripe. They tried everything to keep Vegas afloat, but it wasn't enough. Not even close. Indiana straight up dismantled the Aces. And again, without Caitlin Clark. Now let's break down the exact moment things got spicy. In the third quarter, Lexie Hull, a relentless grinder and one of the most improved players on the Fever's roster, boxed out Aya Wilson like she was writing a textbook on fundamentals. She claimed position, planted her feet, and secured the rebound just like every coach dreams their player will. Then came Wilson, barging in from behind, reaching over Hull's shoulders in a clear over-the-back foul that every single AAU player learns to avoid. And somehow, someway, the refs called a jump ball. Not an over-the-back. Not a personal foul. A jump ball. As if Wilson was just as entitled to that rebound after literally steamrolling Lexie. The reaction was immediate. Even the broadcast booth couldn't pretend it was business as usual. "That's a jump ball?" one of them asked in stunned disbelief. Fever coach Stephanie White was livid, and rightly so. "That's Indiana ball. No debate." But this wasn't just a missed call. It was another example of the Aces getting every benefit of the doubt from the officials. Still, it didn't matter. This win was bigger than just a check in the W column. The Aces had swept the Fever last season. This game symbolized that the tables had turned. Indiana's development, chemistry, and grit finally clicked into gear, and they did it all without their star rookie Caitlin Clark. First, they took down the league's #1 team. Then they took down the defending champs. That's not luck, that's a team discovering its rhythm. Even the commentators couldn't hide their disbelief. Their stunned silences and awkward reactions made it obvious, they didn't see this coming. Vegas had all the hype, all the talent, all the whistles, and none of it could save them. But here's where things get poetic. That awful missed call in the third? Indiana didn't melt down. They didn't argue. They didn't sulk. They simply kept their heads down and tore the Aces apart, possession by possession. So how exactly did the Fever turn a possible momentum swing into a full-blown collapse for Las Vegas? From tip-off, Indiana came out swinging. They opened with 6 unanswered points and ended the first quarter up 21-4. That's not a typo. By then, it was already clear Vegas was in deep trouble. The Fever shot 53%, held the Aces to under 29%, and dominated 16-4 in the paint. Then came the second quarter. Indiana unleashed absolute hell. They outscored Vegas 25-10. That's not a quarter, that's a beatdown. The Fever shot a scorching 82% from the field, while Vegas stumbled to a miserable 24%. Indiana went 6 for 6 in the paint. Vegas? 3 for 13. By halftime, it was 46-24, and the game was as good as over. And let's not forget, this is when the controversial jump ball went down. When the Aces needed momentum badly, the refs handed them a lifeline. A gift-wrapped possession they didn't earn. But even that couldn't swing the tide. "We've been preaching discipline and intention all season," said one of the Fever players after the game. And it showed. Every cut, every pass, every rotation was tight. Indiana wasn't just winning, they were dominating. Heading into the third quarter, Vegas tried to rally. Aya Wilson scored, and there were a few flashes of life. But then Lexie Hull stepped up. After getting robbed on that rebound, she responded like a pro, diving for loose balls, boxing out, making every possession a war. Mitchell drained a corner three. Hull hit the deck again to save a play. And just like that, Vegas' mini comeback fizzled. By the end of the third, Indiana was up 68-47. And the fourth? That was just Vegas getting dragged through the mud. The Aces scored a measly 7 points in the final quarter. 7. That's not a professional effort, that's a breakdown of epic proportions. The final score? 81-54. And honestly, that flatters Vegas. Indiana dismantled them, piece by piece. And now let's talk Aya Wilson's big night. On paper, 29 points on 9 of 18 shooting, plus 11 of 13 from the line. Sounds impressive, until you realize the rest of the team collapsed. Wilson had nearly as many free throws as the entire Fever roster. Yet it meant absolutely nothing. Because while she put up numbers, her teammates were MIA. Chelsea Gray? Nowhere to be found. Jackie Young? Ice cold. Kelsey Plum? Invisible. Let this sink in. Outside of Wilson, the Aces shot a laughable 7 of 43 from the field. That's a 16.3% shooting clip from the supposed deepest team in the league. No other player even cracked 6 points. The dynasty hype? Gone. The depth? Exposed. Wilson had to play 1-on-5 while the rest of her squad vanished under Indiana's relentless defense. And through it all, Caitlin Clark, Lexie Hull, and the Fever didn't just play basketball, they tore down an entire narrative. Clark controlled the offense, spread the floor, and set up fast breaks that left the Aces spinning. Lexie Hull turned a blown call into fuel and made Wilson work for every inch. Kelsey Mitchell? She never let up. Every shot was a dagger. And let's not forget, this was the Commissioner's Cup. Clark even joked about it after the game. "She got me," she said, referring to Wilson. She just got a bonus. A bonus that included a $500,000 prize pool split among the team, around $43,000 per player. Yeah, I'd smile too. Steph White, the Fever's coach, was visibly furious at times, especially with the officiating. But her team didn't need help. They did it themselves. And in doing so, they didn't just beat the champs. They embarrassed them. They turned the so-called dynasty into dust.